Hey everybody, welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Michael Noland. Tonight we're going to be talking about AC/DC because AC/DC, baby, is back in black. I mean, back. But the question is, does AC/DC have anything left in the tank? Does AC/DC have anything to offer us live in 2025? All right, so it's just been announced that AC/DC is touring North America. Ticket prices have been posted and they go from anywhere in my area from $200 for the nosebleed tickets. You might get one for, I think one was posted for $163, probably directly behind some pillar in front of them, right? But the vast majority of those tickets that were posted were going for $200 plus just to see them in the outer ring of the audience. Now, on top of all of that, ticket prices are also going for that very same show for $3,300 each. So AC/DC is definitely charging top dollar. The question is, are they worth it? Now, as many of you know, I am dead set against all the shortcuts when it comes to live music. I'm not a fan of backing tracks or lip syncing or having hidden performers in the back or having ringers in the band to the point that there's no longer a single original member, foreigner, left, and yet they legally get to call themselves Foreigner or whatever the name of that band is, right? So first of all, is AC/DC one of those bands just with a couple of members left that we recognize and they're touring as, well, AC/DC, you know, like The Who? 2 original members left and they're backed by a plethora of musicians on the stage. Well, in my opinion, AC/DC isn't one of those bands. First of all, they've had up to 27 members, with current members and current touring members and past members. The magic number is 27. So they're not one of those bands that we identify with a particular core membership. Now, I know there's a few fans out there that just like the Bon Scott era, or other fans who like it from Back in Black on. But for most fans, we have come to accept the different lineups over the years. So when you ask the question, should they even be out there touring? I would vote that yes, it's fine for them to be out there touring. That's fine indeed if they have something left in the tank. Do they still have anything to offer us? Well, for one thing, they're still offering us new material. They have a semi-new album, Power Up, that came out, a wonderful album. Actually, I consider it to be a near rock masterpiece. I'm giving that one a current hard re-listen. You know, when I started this channel, that album had already been put out, and I spent my first year and a half dedicating my focus on the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and then I branched out. By the time I branched out, I didn't even think about covering that album, but I've always been aware of it, and I liked it then, but giving it a re-listen, I'm gonna tell you, I like it even more now in 2025. Now, AC/DC has taken a play right out of the Rolling Stones playbook by bringing on a bit of rock royalty. Of course, I'm talking about Chris Chaney, formerly of Jane's Addiction, and an original member of the band that used to play with Alanis Morissette. And they're also taking a play out of the Led Zeppelin playbook by bringing on an actual blood relation with Stevie Young, nephew to Malcolm. So again, the question is, do they have anything left in the tank? Do they have anything to offer us? Now, I haven't been keeping track too much of AC/DC in the last couple of years mainly because when I first started my channel, I watched some of their then current live performances and was not at all impressed with Brian Johnson's vocals. I thought the band had it. He was losing his hearing. Everything seemed to be over. And so I kind of missed a lot of these 2024 performances, and I've been catching up. And based on those 2024 performances, I've got to tell you, I've changed my mind a little bit. Now, Brian's vocals are nowhere near what they were back in the heyday, but they're also not as bad as, say, Paul McCartney's vocals, with both of these singers sounding quite raspy, but Brian started off sounding raspy even back in his heyday. It's almost his vocal approach. And instead of the weaker vocals I heard on those older videos, I hear a stronger presence, and I also hear a limited range, with many of their tracks being tuned down by a half step, folks. But he's sounding a whole lot stronger than he ever did. Part of the reason is that a friend of his was a sound expert and started working on equipment, ear monitors, and bringing that equipment down to a size that it would work with Brian, and it has helped immensely with what he hears and how he can sing, and he's not making the note mistakes that he was in the past. And of course, Angus is still up there in short pants, hip-hopping his way across the stage, maybe not as springily as he did 20 years ago, but certainly with energy and dynamic presentation. And you know what, folks? I used to kind of make fun of the guy. It was bad enough that a 20-something rock star was wearing knickers on stage, and I thought it was even more embarrassing now. But you know what, folks? I had an epiphany. All of a sudden, I realized by watching this white-haired old man dressed in knickers hip-hopping across the stage that the whole character that he's been playing is now finally fulfilled. Somehow, it even looks more appropriate than it ever did, and he delivers with gusto. In the end, I would go see this show, folks, provided, of course, that I could get a decently priced ticket and a nice location where I could really enjoy watching this band. What do you guys think? Do you think that AC/DC still has something to offer us? Do they have a little bit left in that proverbial tank, or is their day done as yesterday is today? All right, folks, that's the video for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. That always helps with the YouTube algorithm kind of, fencing this thing off to a broader audience. And if you haven't subbed to this thing we call the Tribe, it's pretty damned easy. All you have to do, said he, is hit that subscribe to the Tribe button, tap that top bell icon, and you'll be notified of all my future videos. All right, I'm Michael Noland. This is The Bottom Line. But the bottom line, as I see it, folks, the real bottom line is always in the comments, and what you have to say on what I talked about tonight is exactly what the consciousness of the Tribe is always. In fact, that's where we prove we are the Tribe.